Hello, everyone. How you doing today? Hope you're having a great Monday and hope you're doing well. While we're waiting on folks to join, don't forget to, whenever you feel like it, go to coopedup.com. That is my website. Also, if you would follow me on other social channels, particularly Instagram, I'm Cooped Up is my handle in most other places. Wherever you are watching or listening to this, be sure to click on the bell to be notified when I go live and all of that. So I hope you are doing well. Hey, Carrie, you beat my mama. I don't know if she's on today. So how's everybody doing? I had a very, very busy, long, exhausting weekend, and I'm just like zapped today. I think it's just this heat, but we will see. Am I a little clearer today than normal? You're really clear today, Aaron. I got a new computer today. So figured out that it was the computer that was the problem. Who knew that you could just look? I got one of the bright, shiny new iMacs today. I got it in blue. It is so cute. Bethan's in the box. What do you do with these? By the way, what do y'all do with these boxes? Because I'm not a box keeper because I don't need it. But I don't want to put it out on the curb because everyone's like, oh, bitch has got an expensive new computer. Let's knock on that door. So what do y'all do with your boxes when you are done with them? I wish I could have a poll on here for you to tell me that. So, so I went out to the computer. So these computers, by the way, are super hard. Carrie's saying, I keep boxes like stuff in case I want to resell. Yeah, I'm like, you want it or not? I don't know. I don't keep the boxes. Especially these, they take up so much room. And I actually have traded in my old computer. Apple, you can do a buyback program, and they send you a box. I already got a box from them to put it in, and it's all padded and stuff, and so you don't need this one. And they gave me let's see, what did I get? I think I got $90 for Claire's old one, and for mine, I'm going to get $350, my old one. So yeah, good stuff. But I had to go up to Nebraska Furniture Mart in Carrollton. That is the only place that has them in stock right now. All the Best Buys are sold out. All of the Apples are sold out. If you order it online from Apple, they're like, it will arrive by August 25th or something, like a month. It's like a month. So I was like, oh, I should check Nebraska Furniture Mart's website. And I just did it. I don't know if you've ever been there. That store is insane, but I did not even have to step foot in there. I ordered it online, and it's far enough away where I could get there, and it was already done. So I ordered it online, got in the car, drove out to Carrollton, where Nebraska, I don't even know. That's far north Carrollton, actually, I think. And got there, and you just pull up to this computer screen, beep, 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 type in what you're there to pick up. They tell you to go. I had to go to spot 4A, open the back. They put it in the back of the car, and I drove off. That was it. It was awesome. But yeah, so anyway, but good. Well, I am so glad that we figured out that the clarity issue, and I think I'm in high def even. Yay. So Todd is currently in San Francisco. He had to go up there. He's had to do a deposition or something for something. And he had to fly out yesterday. So we were in San Antonio for the weekend for my grandfather's funeral and drove down. And then I had to drop him off at the airport yesterday and come back, just me and the kids all by ourselves in traffic. And I'll get to that in a minute. But Todd texted last night that it is in the 70s in San Francisco. I'm like, not having that. Although I have heard that it is very foggy, that the weather is not great. But it is hot as balls outside here today. So Friday, the military funeral. So to recap, my grandfather passed away early on, actually December 26, 2019. The funeral was delayed, and then COVID happened. And it wasn't COVID. He was 100 years old in 19 days or something like that. And so military stopped doing military funerals during COVID, and you have to get one scheduled now. And he actually was cremated and already interred. We just couldn't have a ceremony for it. So this was the ceremony for it. So beautiful. Like the military just does things so well at traditional kind of things like this. So we get there, and of course, waterworks, just everybody crying. A lot of people showed up from like his nursing home that he was in and all of that. It was great. But the minute they started taps, I was like, waterworks, just gone. And they asked if I wanted to talk. I was like, you don't want me talking. I can't. I will just be struggling through that. So, hey, Eric, sorry. Eric's out of town. Yeah. So, and then my mom is asking, am I okay? I'm on live now. That's weird. So taps, they do that. And then they did the gun salute, which if you did not retire, if you served in the military, you get a 9-gun salute, or I think that's right. Yeah, they did it 3 of them 3 times. And if you retired from the military, like a life of service or whatever, you get the 21-gun salute. Hey, Mama. Sure, there she is. And Suzanne is in Washington State, and it's 72 right now at 2:30 p.m. Ugh. And Carrie's saying, I dare anyone to keep a dry eye during taps. I know. So I did the 9-gun salute then for him because he was served in World War II in the Air Force. He was a navigator, I found out. But he didn't retire. He wasn't like a career military person. So it was a 9-gun salute, but very, very loud. Claire like jumped out of her skin, like climbed up my leg. And it even made me jump, and I knew it was coming. So they do that. And then they did the flag thing. And what actually choked me up the most is when they do the flag and then they presented it to my Aunt Lois. And the person presenting it says, on behalf of the President of the United States, I would like to thank you for blah, blah, blah. I'd never heard, have any of y'all, other than maybe if you've been in military funerals, but I've never actually heard what was said between the soldier who was saluting the flag and all of that, and the person, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it, and the person who gets the flag. So basically it is on behalf of the President of the United States of America, I want to thank your family for their service or whatever, like that sort of thing. Oh, it was crazy. I mean, just everyone. And then my aunt got up and said a few words, and again, not a dry eye in the house about that. So, but yeah, so that was that. Driving down to San Antonio was crazy, y'all. And Suzanne saying, yes, they did that at my dad's funeral. I guess it's one of those things where, I mean, I'm assuming that they do it, because I was at your dad's funeral, Suzanne. They do it at all of them, but I guess unless you're with an earshot, because it was, I mean, they say it right directly to that person. And so at your dad's funeral, like I was at the back, so I didn't hear, I've never heard it. And I didn't realize it was like on behalf of the President of the United States. That's so interesting to me. And I get it, but it's just interesting. So driving to San Antonio. So it is like a 4 to 5 hour drive. You got to stop at Buc-ee's on the way, maybe twice. We only stopped once because on the way down, Waze actually took us around the tollway from Austin all the way down to I-10 and then over, because we were going to like something on the southern side of San Antonio where we were staying. We were staying in a cabin at an RV park randomly. Hotel rooms were, something's going on in San Antonio, booked solid or stupid expensive. So we stayed at a campground in a cabin. We had 2 different cabins, 2 2-bedroom cabins, because my sister's family also stayed there. But that tollway, y'all, the speed limit on much of it is 85 miles an hour. And of course, you got to go faster than that. So I was going like 92. That is both exhilarating and terrifying at the same time. And especially because the road, it's flat, but sometimes it kind of does that. And you get the waves going. I remember doing that in our Escalade when we had one of those, and you get that Cadillac wave going. That was too much. It was fine, but I was kind of white knuckling it a little bit, but a lot of fun. We were in Todd's Range Rover, which has adaptive cruise control. So you can just set it on whatever. And if it pulls up behind someone, it slows down to their speed until they get out of the way. And then it takes off again. It was awesome. Anyway, but here, the weird thing though, is then you get off that road and then you get back onto I-10. And I-10 has a 70 mile an hour speed limit, which is perfectly fine and acceptable, but it feels like you're crawling after you've been going 92 for the last hour or so. The other weird thing, and this is a very Texas conversation, but the other weird thing about that tollway around Austin is that it takes you so far away from Austin, like you're in the country the whole time. It's so bizarre. People talk about there being a lot of traffic on it, but I used it both ways, and there was not a lot of traffic on it. And then on the way back, we took that tollway around back, and then we stopped at the Buc-ee's outside of Temple. And for those of you who aren't in Texas, I think most of you are, Buc-ee's is a convenience store chain that has like a rabid loyal following, including myself. And it is like the size of a small Walmart store. It has like 100 tanks for gas and all that kind of stuff. I have never seen a Buc-ee's so busy. There was a line like out of the bathroom, like through the store. They have really good clean bathrooms. Of course, it was a women's line that was that long, not the men's. Barbecue sandwiches, beef jerky. I don't think I have ever walked out of Buc-ee's without at least a $50 tab, and this was no exception either. Because we bought lunch, so we bought like the barbecue sandwiches, some chips because they've got good homemade chips, some beef jerky, sodas, iced tea for me, some candies, all kinds of stuff like that. They have clothes. You can buy clothes there. You can buy a skillet there. Like it is. If you have not been to a Buc-ee's, they are insane. I assume all of y'all have though. And then between Waco and Dallas, it was basically bumper to bumper traffic. I was exhausted when we got home because and it was some of it was stop and go, some of it was flowing at normal speeds, but just so many people on the road. It was crazy. Have y'all driven? Did y'all? And I think it was because it was a Sunday afternoon and all of that too. One of the things that makes me laugh. Oh, we had this. I'll get to that in a minute. One of the things that do any of y'all make up stories about your pack? Like somehow, like when you're driving, there's always the same cars around you, right? Like you're like, okay, that's the Jeep and the truck and the this and the that, and you somehow travel together, right? It's always. And for me, I'm a fast driver on highways. I'm a slow driver on streets, but I'm a really fast driver on highways. And you're going, and in my mind, I start making up stories about these people, like not names or anything, but like based on their driving habits, how they act. Are they nice? Are they jerks? Where are they going? Like they're my friend now. Like, and they get off, and I'm like, oh, there goes the Range Rover. Bye, Range Rover. Do y'all do that? My kids think I'm insane because I'm like, oh yeah, that car. And we had an interesting thing because on the way down and on the way back, the exact same car, a gray Volkswagen Titan, something like that, with a personalized license plate was in our pack both directions. I've never had that happen before. So weird. But Michelle has never been to a Buc-ee's. Oh my goodness, you are in for an experience when you do it. I always go, so here's a pro tip on Buc-ee's. Don't ever go into the middle entrance, the main entrance. You always have to enter from one of the side entrances because it is just the registers are crazy. Everything is crazy. It is a sensory experience. You would not know that COVID exists. I think the closest ones to Dallas, there's one in Royce City, which is just east of like Rockwall, Lake Ray Hubbard, all that. I think there's one down in Terrell, maybe. I'm pretty sure of that, like down 175 or something. And then to the north, I think there's one in Denton County somewhere. That's crazy. They still close. I have a Buc-ee's Christmas ornament that I bought on one of our trips. Suzanne loves military custom. I know, me too. It was very impressive. And I love a military cemetery too. Suzanne's in, Michelle, I see a road trip in your future. Take someone with you if you go, Michelle, because you will get knocked over. It is like a very like people everywhere kind of situation. And if you have any issue with balance, which I know you do, you might want to keep that in mind. By the way, Michelle, I'm assuming since we haven't heard anything bad, your colonoscopy went okay. You're here, so you made it through the weekend. I can't believe we're talking about colonoscopies on the show. What else? Sunday was Todd and my wedding anniversary. The only reason we remembered it really is because Facebook reminded us. We don't really, I've talked about this before, we don't really celebrate our wedding anniversary. We've been married for 7 years as of this past Sunday. And one of the things about it is we were banned from marriage for so long that it never was really a holiday for us. Like our holiday, we consider our first date, February 28th, 1999, our date that we celebrate. We get gifts on that day. We go to dinner, all that kind of stuff. July 25th is just the day that we made it legal in our minds. It was a beautiful day. I'm actually trying to look for photos of it to share with y'all. There's one that was on Facebook that randomly has started getting lots of comments, and I didn't do anything with it, so I don't know why. The algorithm just suddenly started to push that out. But we have a lot of it. Our wedding was gorgeous and small, like 20-something people. Didn't cost very much money. We did it at San Francisco City Hall, gorgeous City Hall. I'll let you know if I post pictures. And speaking of weddings, or not weddings, but engagements or relationships, I am still there for Bennifer 2.0. So Jennifer Lopez turned 52 over the weekend, 52 years old, and has that body. That's got to be a lot of work. It's got to be exhausting being that hot and fit at age 52, honestly. That's what I'm telling myself. And so she broke off her engagement with A-Rod. And she's back with, well, there's rumors that she and Ben Affleck were doing more than just hanging out, that they're like together again, right? And they posted on her birthday, which was either Saturday or Sunday, I can't remember which. I think it was Saturday. They pictures of them kissing, and they made it official on Instagram that they are a couple. And I am curious, like, I am obsessed with Bennifer. Why am I so happy for them? Like, same here. I think it goes back to nostalgia. Personally, I think that was such a like power couple from when we were young and fabulous and stylish and kind of in the scene. So I think there's a lot of that. I did not realize that they were engaged. I read something about them earlier today. I thought that they were just dating, but I didn't realize that they were engaged. My mom loves that they're back together. And Suzanne saying, it's weird. I hated Ben and Jen the first time around, but I like them so much this time. I think that they've maybe just grown into themselves. I think he's had a rough go of it the last few years. You know, his marriage from Jennifer Garner fell apart by reports is that it's his behavior that caused it. But I think he's gotten clean, drugs, all that kind of stuff. And I just do think that they know each other. And weren't they in a movie together? And it wasn't a good one. It's like Jiggly or something. Gigli. What was the movie? I think it was something like that. And it was one of her early movies. And I don't think it was I didn't see it that I can recall, but I remember hearing, I don't go to movies. I see them if they're on TV. And by the time it's on TV, I've heard if it's good or not. And it sounded very Weezer Boudreaux. But so they were making a movie together, and then she had wasn't he in one of her music videos? I think Jenny from the Block. I think wasn't he like pumping gas, and like they were hanging out in her Bentley convertible and all that stuff. That sounds right to me. And the is it Jenny from the Block? I think that was the one. Maybe, I don't know. Or maybe it was Love Don't Cost a Thing. Maybe that was the one. I don't know. Either way. And it was Gigli, whatever, which is based on another movie. It's like a remake of an old famous movie, I believe. Suzanne is asking, do I remember the huge pink diamond engagement ring? I do not. But that is, I'm very excited for them. Hopefully she's found her way. Hopefully he's found his love. Who was I talking to? One of my family members. We sat around drinking and eating and reminiscing over the weekend. And we were talking, this came up in the conversation. And I just can't even imagine the pressure that a relationship like that is under. So, same with, I've talked about Dolly, I can't not talk about Dolly Parton and Carl also, is that supposedly like Dolly Parton and Carl have an open marriage. where they just can't fall in love with someone else, but if they're doing other stuff, it's fine. I think that may be what happens a lot in like Hollywood situations, because there's so much there's so many people throwing themselves at you. There's so much temptation. There's so much pressure. There's so much unreal expectation. You're also separated for huge amounts of time, either touring or making a movie or something like that. That I think maybe, I always say every relationship has its own rules. Maybe that's kind of like the rules of the road on, and maybe as you get older, you figure it out. I do not know. So she didn't skip a beat. Weird. I don't know. Again, we don't know how long she and A-Rod were actually broken up either. You know, they were playing like they weren't, but maybe they didn't really figure it out as much as they thought they did. Am I a lot clearer to everybody, by the way? I know Aaron said I was. New computer today. That's probably why. Carrie's saying, oh yeah, big deal. He went from J-Lo Jennifer to alias Jennifer. That was big news. And Bennifer was no longer allowed. Also, pretty sure Bennifer was the first celeb portmanteau. I can't ever remember how to say that. Or was it Jennifer and Brad? I don't know. But they were early on. If they were not the first, they were definitely like second or third. And because it was Jen and Brad also. A lot of Jennifers. Yes, a lot of Jennifers. What else? Last night after we got home, I unpacked the car, or the kids and I unpacked the car, and made a little dinner, and then sat down and watched the opening ceremonies of the Olympics, because Carrie and I had been texting about it, but I hadn't seen them yet. Interesting. That's what I'm saying. So here's the thing. I'm giving them all kinds of passes because of the year. They were still calling them the 2020 Olympics, by the way. I thought that was odd. But they had to pare it down. They couldn't have people in the audience. There's no one to like get energy from all of that. So anyways, I'm giving tons of grace, tons of passes to this. What drives me insane, I think that we just need to let America produce all of the Olympic ceremonies. What drives me insane is when the commentators, so Savannah Guthrie, who I am not a great fan of, from the Today Show, and I don't remember the other guy's name, they are constantly, and I remember Matt Lauer used to do this a lot too, constantly breaking in saying, well, the feather represents the blah, blah, blah. Well, the stone represents the blah, blah, blah. This dance represents the blah, blah, blah. It's like everything represents something. And I'm like, just let us watch. I wish there was a station that you could watch the Olympic opening ceremonies and not have commentary. You had all the music, you had the pomp and circumstance, maybe a little pop-up video situation like, bloop. Like there was a couple of cool things that I'm glad they explained, like the wood that was used was it in the tables or something that they tap dancing? I can't remember. I was sort of watching. I was also sort of taking some sauce. But like the trees that were planted, the seeds that were planted for the trees, the first time they hosted the Olympics, like in the 1960s, so they murdered those trees, basically, cut them down and turned them into tables for this Olympiad. So I thought that was neat. That's a lot of forethought on that. Like, do you think Tokyo, like, I don't recall hearing the story about why they planted all those seeds. Were they doing it to fight deforestation? Did they know that they would be hosting the Olympics someday soon? Like, that seems like a very, like a lot of forethought, like 60 years ago, 50, however long ago, that sort of thing. The pictograms was the coolest thing. I agree. I thought that. So, well, I'm gonna say two things about the pictograms. So, first of all, pictograms, you know, those like the pictures of things, for those of you who didn't watch the Olympics, were invented by the first time the Olympics were held in Tokyo, because the Japanese language is so different and they wanted everyone to understand, but they didn't want to do everything in English and all that. Those pictograms were invented and have been updated over the years, but for that Olympics. So they kind of honored those in this one. I thought that was really cool as well. The way they did it was a little cheesy to me, and I got the point. I mean, I thought it was neat at first, but I actually fast forwarded through the rest of it because it just got repetitive. I was like, okay, You showed us 4 of them. Like, how are you going to reenact those? I don't need to see all 25. But I thought that was neat. And the drones, since I'm a fan, I love drones. So I thought that was pretty cool too. It's got to be the Parade of Nations was interesting as well, because you had some people. So it was a very pared down. Definitely not everybody. I wonder how people decided whether they were going to do that or not. Like, had they already not qualified for the finals or something? They're like, fuck it, let's just go have a good time. Or was it because it wasn't? I didn't see many of the big stars there. And people are testing left and right for COVID right now, so they're wanting to avoid that. And then you saw some people with double masks. You saw some people with no masks whatsoever. Like, it was really like, okay. But it wasn't a couple. Like, the Italians were very energetic. The Americans were obviously very energetic. But everyone else was just kind of walking in. That guy from, is it Tongo? What's the country? The guy. Okay, he needs to stop with the oil on his body. We get it. I don't mind looking at it, but we get it. You're not a 6-year-old who told a joke, everyone laughed, and you need to tell the joke every single day for the rest of your life. We get it. You had your moment. Like, I think the wheels have come off of that bus. The wheels have fallen off of that wagon. But I have been watching some of it. I watched some of the swimming. I watched. I don't think I watched any of the acrobats. Not acrobats. Is that the right word? Why am I not registering acrobatics? Like Simone Biles and all that. I haven't seen any of that. I've read about it, but I haven't seen any of that. What else did I watch? I think swimming is the thing I've watched the most of so far. Just haven't been watching. I mean, last night was the first I saw of any of it, other than like maybe on a TV at a restaurant or something. So gymnastics, God, yes. Thank you, Suzanne. Why is my brain not working? Jody wants to know, do I think J-Lo keeps the engagement rings? What's the protocol on that? Like, do women keep the ring? And I guess it depends on who broke up with whom, maybe. I don't know how all that works. And the men's swimming relay was awesome last night. So there was one that I was watching, and I was watching with the kids. And I can't remember which one it was, but it had the 2 Americans, and one was in slot 3 and one was in slot 7. And it was the one where they have to do 4 different things. And they go back and forth and then back and forth 8 times, basically. And 4 different, medley. Is it called the medley, maybe? And we're watching it, and we're like, okay, America, you're not doing too good. Like, you're supposed to be the best. And then they throw it into overdrive at the end, and you're like, there it is, right there. So they get it going. And I think that was America number 1 and number 2 in that one, I think, or maybe 1 and 3 or whatever. But they like 2 body lengths ahead. That was really cool to watch. And the shirtless sport with Speedos is the one you've watched the most of. Me too. Exactly. I hold nothing back and no shame. I'm not gonna lie. I watched part of the Olympics just for the physiques, and good for them. If you've worked that hard, you better look that good. So we were watching the relay with the cute buds. Yes, exactly. I think that's when you were texting me about, Carrie, last night. I'm not dead. I'm actually, well, never mind. I'm not going to continue that thought. So, alrighty, I'm getting near the end. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. If I did, let me know. Alrighty, well, I am glad that it is way clearer now. So a new computer will do wonders. Who knew? And I think it's at 720 DPI or what, I don't know what the words are for it. But anyway, alrighty. Carrie, are you going to be out on Wednesday? I'm asking you now so I know it tomorrow. Anyway, with that, I want to say bye. I love you. It's important to know you are loved. I love that you watch this. Thank you so much. This is my daily therapy. When I don't get to talk to a lot of people, I get to talk to y'all and just kind of get my thoughts out. By the way, someone over, and Carrie will be here on Wednesday. Someone over the weekend was like, "Oh, my so-and-so watches you." They're like, "He's got a lot of opinions on things." Do I? Or do I just talk about my opinions on things? Like, I don't consider myself a very opinionated person. I'm just making observations. Maybe I am. I try not to be too judgy. Don't shoot yourself to death. There's nothing you should be doing. So with that, I'm going to say bye. And I will see you tomorrow at 4:30 for another episode of Cooped Up Live, should I say. Talk to you later. Bye.